Okay, we're gonna start your in-service training. Gonna do insulin training. I know for a fact that you guys have patients in here with diabetic. They're diabetic in here. And let's see. Everybody's in here. Have I submitted enough? Think so. I haven't met you.
No.
I met you. No, you, no. Yep, you're the only person.
Yeah,
I'm Pam.
me.
Huh?
I'm Pam.
You Pam?
I'm second.
Hey, Peggy.
Pam has been with us for a long time,
But
but she was with Golden Oaks, and she came here from Golden Oaks.
Okay. Well, so far, I'm going to say good morning to everyone. And Tony and Sean, Crystal. Miss Ethel in the back. Is she back there?
She's not here.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Good morning, everyone. We got some nurse delegation training to do. We're going to review some insulin training. Some of you had just had that with you the other day. Nebulizer training, catheter care, suprapubic catheter. The gentleman that you have here. You guys aware who that is?
Yes,
I'm
David.
not.
David.
I will be.
He knew.
They right here.
He right there.
And how to do vitals and how to do blood sugars. So with the insulin training, we're going to kind of move the blood sugars. We'll do that with that type of training. Okay. Well, as you guys know, you have patients with diabetes. Diabetes is a metabolic issue, meaning that that's something that the body needs to do, needs to break down regular carbohydrates and things in the food, like carbs and proteins and different things. And when it breaks down, it works with the pancreas. The pancreas is located by the stomach. And like I told the bunch this week, we're not going to get through all the pathophysiology because I'll make you guys crazy. And that takes 4 years. I don't have that much time, an hour and a half. Okay, some of the patients that you will see, everybody should always have a machine called a glucometer. Is everybody aware of what that is? Okay. And some of you will see this machine called TrueTrack. You may see other devices in your home, but most of all, each patient should have their own glucometer. You should never share their personal devices, even though I know it occurs. So, a prior video, you did not hear that. You should use your own glucometer, okay? If you don't, with the care managers that are coming through here, or talk to Shar, you make sure that you get your own individual glucometers, okay? With those glucometers, you have the device, it's the, I'm going to say Lancet, but it's a device that you can put inside your instrument to poke the fingers. I've seen in a lot of facilities that you guys get stressed, this thing is not working, you get frustrated. You're thinking like, man, I gotta take this person's blood sugar. Oh, I ain't gonna take it, I'm just gonna give them some insulin. Wrong. You're going to take it. And so like open this device, everyone should have something like this similar. Again, you do not use the same little device on every person. It has to be changed. Because we have to do standard precaution. You know, that person may have something, hepatitis, or some other disease process that you don't want to do, the next person has. So you always change that device inside every time that you use with their resident. And they should have to use their own device, do not keep using the same with everybody else. Always be precautious. Now this is, make sure it's in there. Oh, see, you see what just happened? Say click. I would have stabbed myself. I don't want to do that. You're going to pull back on this device. Now for the folks that I have been training the past couple of months, on your finger you can develop calluses on your fingers. And hopefully you guys are going to each finger and milking the fingers. As a matter of fact, let's check your fingers. I can tell. Let me see your hand.
Oh, yes.
So on your fingers of your patients, you should be feeling the top of your fingers. And on your patient's fingers, okay? And you're thinking like, why is she touching my hands? I have no magic powers, okay? And you're checking the fingers on your patients. That's right, you were, yes, you sure were. She sure, stop it, twice.
She was our test person.
And Tony, if Tony had to give medication, you check these fingers so you don't want anybody's finger being callous. Can anyone who have recently trained, why don't we want the fingers callous? Anybody remember?
The skin is hard and it's hard to detect the blood.
Okay, you should be using those fingers on the side or right in the top. And you change the fingers. You never use the same finger, because if you do, you'll find that person's finger extremely hard. You cannot get your blood out. Okay? And you clean your fingers with alcohol. The little simple old-fashioned alcohol wipes. However, when they came up in training this week, if you don't have any, which you should always, but if you don't, soap and water will do. Okay, any questions so far?
No.
Okay, now, you're gonna, as I said, you'll pull back your device. Now also, you'll notice these things have numbers. Just pass that around. Now, depending on if you're rotating the fingers of your patients and not using the same old dead finger from each person, you need to change. You need to change the setting on those devices, because if a longer time person been have diabetes, that finger will have a tendency to get a little harder, and it'll be harder to get to the skin. So you need to change that. But do not go to the highest one, because that will hurt the finger of the person. It's like a knife going into their finger. So be nice to them, and you'll get a small amount of blood that you need. Any questions so far? Everybody comfortable with that? Because the only person that should not know how to do that is probably you, Jaquan. I think everybody else is already now doing it. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. No.
Okay, any questions so far? All right. Again, make sure everybody have their own, and make sure you change the device on a regular basis. You will have the strips for these devices should be located in your container or your little pocket device here, or either however way you guys got it in your cart. This device here will be your instrument how to get the blood to the person's finger. When you put these strips inside the machine, it reads the machine. And in this particular machine, it has a code on the side here. Let me take that out. With this particular device, because it's an old one, it's a cheap one. And it's not your fault, it's family. Let's get it. You got this device, and it should read. It should come inside the bottles that you get your device, or it comes in a little plastic piece that you pull off, and you put this inside your kit here. And you just put it in here, and it will read that code, and that should match your strips. Somebody's ringing. Okay.
The
So you
new
put it in there.
devices don't have that anymore. They're all.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
The new devices, all the calibration is the same. All the numbers, the codes
It's
are the same.
it's some, except this thing here.
That's a
Correct.
dinosaur.
Yes, this is a dinosaur, the cheap dinosaur that
Okay.
some companies appreciates. You
Okay.
can just make sure, because that belongs to the same strip, should be on the same side. So only in certain cases where you will see that. When I've done many years of home care, some patients still have that thing, and I'm like, don't like it. But you have to have the right strips. It just slow you down a little bit. So for those patients here at Michelle Home that have that, you may run into that machine. Okay. Now when you get that patient's finger, get it ready, put the alcohol or either the soap and water in their finger. You'll milk their finger down like this, and it should be below the heart, so you can get the most blood. And it should get a little bit red or a little bit warm, and you can go from this side to this side, and be very careful not to go right here, if you can help it. You're gonna need a little bit of blood once you get it, and you just milk the finger down. And you take that device, and you'll put that blood, that device either on the side, depending on what the machine is looking like. Now in this case, if you draw the blood right in the middle, it goes in it says beep. And then on this machine that's right here, toward the bottom, you see where it's telling you you're getting ready for you to receive the blood. And usually it says beep, or you hear a little bitty sound to tell you that it's reading the blood sugar levels. Now you guys should know, except for Jaquan, because he just knew to doing doing healthcare or in the CBRF, you should have an instrument called or tool called a MARS. Everybody familiar with that? Mm-hmm. Your medical records. So it will tell you whatever the reading is for the blood sugars. It will indicate to you what the blood sugar or how much insulin the person needs. Is everybody familiar with that? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So once you get your reading for this, now I see a lot of times people will put the writings in the hands or put it in the back of the hands, and then you're going to put some hand sanitizer behind your hand. Go to person number 2. Then by the time you get back, you don't know where it is. Don't do that. Get your sheet of paper, put it down, before you can put it down immediately by the person you took their blood sugars. Anybody familiar with that? Know how to do that? Mm-hmm. Put something in your hand, forgot what you did. Put it in your pocket, you take it home with you. They start calling you like, you didn't put my numbers, you ain't getting your check next week. No, she's gonna take that. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. But you need to write those numbers down because it's very important to the patient. Now, is everybody familiar how to use these insulin pens?
Yes, I am.
Anybody not familiar besides J1? Going once, going twice.
Sold to the highest bidder.
Yes, right. Now, the reason you guys use the dial pen system because you're not registered nurses. You cannot draw it up because then you'll be held liable and you need licensed persons around you. In this type of setting, the CBRF for adult family home and the state regulations for Milwaukee, for the state of Wisconsin, you are allowed to use these pens. So you have someone that may have a mixture of 70-30. Anybody remember seeing those in your Mars? Okay. You may have a mixture of Novolog or Humulin, depending on the company. And you guys probably give a lot of Lantus to people. Matter of fact, now you guys really weren't doing too much of that stuff here, were you? Or did you have anybody now that has it?
One person, but then now she's not on it anymore. So we're not having it.
Okay, so in this particular house, you don't really have a lot of insulin. But if you go to Tony's house, you may. Do you have anybody at your place?
I have
Okay. You have 3. So you guys, as an organization, really don't have a lot of people on insulin, which is good, which is really, really good. But just in case, with those, you may get a resident in the near future, or someone in your home may develop or become a diabetic. This is how you're going to deliver the insulin from this device. Okay, as you can tell, it has a dial system. It's like if you were dialing, or setting your clock or something. And this if the person's blood sugar was 155, no, I say 205. So the information in the Mars would say 150, 0 to 150, no insulin, 150 to 200, 1 unit or 2 units, and it will tell you exactly what you need. It's almost foolproof, unless you're not looking and got your hands, you're talking on your cell phone, what you should not have. Should not be on your person, and if it does, Shar, take care of it. Ain't that right, Shar? Ain't that right, Tom? Okay, so you'll use the dial system. For those who haven't used or see those in a little bit, pass them over. You would dial how much insulin you would use for that patient. Okay. Now you should be looking at your insulin in your bottles. Now if it looks green, purple, yellow, or looking cloudy, cloudy's okay because that's okay. This is the medication itself. Or it should be looking clear. But any other color than those 2 colors, you should not give this. You should be letting someone, calling Shar, calling Crystal, calling Karen, or Tony, and whomever you can get a hold of, that something's wrong with your insulin. It should be kept in the refrigerator. And you guys have an area, I know at the facility where I am, it's locked in our nursing box, in our nursing offices. Where do you guys put yours at here?
When we had insulin, we had a locked box and we had it in the refrigerator.
Okay. So if it's here, you're going to put it in the locked box, like you said, and put it in the refrigerator. So when you go get your patient's medication, you would make sure you have this. Now, in order to get that, Tony, I don't see it. Your device to put on top. There's a little pin that goes on top of this.
I didn't bring the needle.
Okay. Well, it's a little device that goes on here because you probably won't say, well, we're going to just touch like this. It don't work like that. It's a little small, tiny device. Got a little small pin needle. And you screw it on top, and it's very little. And like I was sharing with you guys, were the ones I've trained, in order to give the insulin, you have to give it in the subcutaneous area, which is the area behind your back that you're trying to get those Obama arms just to got that jiggle back there. In that little area, everybody got a 6-pack. I ain't got mine. I put mine away this morning. Back by the time my anniversary come around, you know, I had one like I got sick when I used to like Beyonce. You know how that goes. Yeah, I know me too old. But anyway, you'll give it in the back of the arm while the subcutaneous fat. Or you put it in the stomach area, or you put it in the thighs. And it should be on the back, as Tony reminded me, graciously reminded me, it's on the back of your Mars. It'll tell you where you last gave it. And you should initial in the back where you gave the patient last time you gave the insulin. And why would I do that? Again, it will get callous and the person won't get the medication delivered into the fat and get into the bloodstream. Any questions so far? Now let me ask you a dumb question. We went through this with the training over at Fardale. Should you walk around with a needle in your hand?
No.
Why?
Somebody can get it.
And who's that somebody most likely?
Yourself.
Thank you, Peggy. It's yourself. So then you're going to call Shard, call Tony, then they're going to send you to Concentric, send you through a whole bunch of tests, and train. It's a mess. Don't do it. Cut it out. You'll see them here. Stop. Don't do it. Just don't do it. I'm going to see on your shoulder and say, don't do it. You think, oh, she's talking crazy. You go home, go grocery store. That hurt. No, just don't do it, because you got to report it. Okay? Any questions so far? Any questions? Any questions, Tony? Any questions, Sean? No. Okay. I'm just asking. All right.